the hell would you be watching me today? Why do you want to make more money? Not just for, I want financial freedom, I want to spend more time with family. When we can get out of our heads and find the true why in our hearts, everything changes. So I want to give you this exercise, and I'll give it to you on a fairly, you've been with me for a long time today. Thank you so much. Some of you have been here since the beginning. This is so awesome. I can't believe 3 hours has gone by just like that, and thousands of you are still with us. So thank you so much for being here. I'm glad I'm keeping your interest. I'm glad I'm sharing, and I'm glad you joined us. And this is my appreciation to you for all you've done to help further my brand. Please keep watching my videos. Tell people about my book. Leave me reviews. Buy courses when I get them done. But this one you don't have to buy because you're here and you're watching, right? So, so back to the 7 levels. I want, if you know, going back through the previous 6 musts to start or scale or create a new side income or new business. So I was really big on making sure you're clear on where it is you want to go, right? So when you have a vision, right? So now you know where you want to go, and you make a not to-do list. So you're avoiding some stuff that you shouldn't be doing, and then you understand marketing is key, and you get these other components, and then all of a sudden, bad days come up, or things try to drive you off track, or your subconscious tells you you can't, you shouldn't, you must. The inner doubt says, be safe, stop being a dreamer. How do you drive through that? Like driving through a brick wall. How do you push past that? To me, it's knowing why the heck you want it from your heart, the deepest level possible. And to me, that exercise is the 7 levels deep. It's in my book. If you guys read it in my book, let me know if you've been through it. If you haven't been through it, if you don't have my book, Millionaire Success Habit, I think it's in chapter 1 or 2. It's amazing. I'm going to go through it with you here too right now. It's basically asking, let me just tell you the 30,000 foot view. It's basically asking the same question, asking a question with the previous answer. So I'm going to I'm going to use myself as an example. Joe Stump said to me, why would you hire me to help your students? I said, I want more of my students, you, to get engaged, to use what I teach and transform their life like I want. I want another level. So he said, wow, that's really good, Dean, that you want that for you want that for your students. So why would it be important for you to help more students go to another level? Like, okay, I understand the 7 levels deep. You're asking me why with the previous. So why would it be important? I said, because I want to raise the bar in this industry. There's so many incredible people changing lives. There's a lot of people, not so much. You know what I'm talking about. So I want people in this industry to step up or step out. He said, that's a good one. So when I asked you why, you said you wanted to help more people. I asked you why that. You said you wanted to raise the standards. And why is that important? I thought about it, and coming from my head, I'm like, I want to set a legacy for my family. Really good answer, right? Still coming from here. So he asked me a couple more times. So why, you said this, you said that, and why do you want to set a legacy? I forget what I said. But then I remembered when I got to number 5, the 5th, 6th, and 7th question, because everything flipped. And I want you to start thinking. I want you to do this exercise. Don't just think through it. Do this exercise. Ask it 7 times with the previous answer. Do it with someone else. You can ask each other. All of a sudden, I got to the 5th answer, and my physiology changed. I got goosebumps. I was like, I felt emotional. And it came out. I said, I don't want to go backwards. Like, where did I hired you to help my students. What does that mean? I don't want to go backwards. I didn't want to go backwards. I was broke as a kid. I did live in a trailer park with my mom. I did live in a bathroom with my dad because the only place the electric heater would keep warm. I did go to school without lunch money. I knew what it was like to watch my parents struggle for money. I don't want to go back there. All of a sudden that pulled on my heart. It's like, I have a bad day. I want to help my students, but man, I'm not going backwards. I'm like, that's it. And he's like, no, that was only the 5th question. 6th one, why is it important that you don't go backwards? I'm like, and then I just started crying, literally in front of my staff, in front of him. Tears are coming out. I'm like bawling. And I said, I want my kids to have choices. I feel it right now. I could literally, when I think about my kids, I want to cry anyway. I said, I don't want to go backwards. And then I said, I want my kids to have choices. And what that meant for me is I didn't have choices as a kid. I don't want to raise spoiled brats. I'm not going to give them money, but if they want to take a year off and travel and figure out what they want to do with their life, they want to start a business and I can help fund it for them. They want to buy a house and I'll lend them the money to start a business. I want them to have choices, and I will fight, kick, and scream for that. And I'm literally sobbing. I can feel my children. I'm so excited. And he said, that's great, but there's one more. Why is it important your kids have choices? And it just came out, and I was sobbing. I said, I want to be in control of my life. When I was a kid, my parents were married 9 times. I moved 19 times by the time I was 19, in and out of schools, different parents and step-parents, and everything was so out of control as a kid. We didn't have money, so we'd get evicted and have to move out of apartments and move in with Graham. It was so out of control that I needed to create control. And that's why I worked so hard. I wanted to be in control. I don't want anybody to tell me how to dress, how to talk, how to raise my children, where to live. I don't want anybody to tell me if I could coach Little League or coach softball or go to every dance recital and every practice and every game. No one's going to tell me. I'm in control of my time. So I needed to get money out of the way. And when I felt it in my heart that I don't want to go backwards, I want my kids to have choices and I want control. Do you think there's anything going to stop me? Do you think there's any obstacle going to get in my way? Do you think money's going to be in my way? Negative people in my life going to be in the way? No. There's nothing going to stop me when I think of it that way. It's the gasoline. It's part of who I am. It's part of what drives me. Do I have shitty days? Yes. Do I have personal days in my life that I wish I could change? Yes. Do businesses fail? Yes. But if I go, I want to help my students, or I want to be a better dad, that's one thing. But when I go into my heart and say, I'm not going backwards, I'm giving my kids choices, and I'm going to be in control of my life, nothing can stop me. So what's yours? Are some of mine close to yours? If you know your why, can you tell me right now? Tell me your why. Or go through this exercise. I'm not just doing this for my health. I'm doing this to give you the tools to see the foundation where all success lives. And let's get to the 8th one. This one, the greatest gift that I could give to you, that you could give your family, that you could give your bigger future, your next level of income, is to be the observer of your thoughts. Now, Eckhart Tolle wrote that in The Power of Now. Michael Singer talks about it masterfully in The Untethered Soul. But what does that really mean? Be the observer of your thoughts, the power of thoughts. Here's what I know. Wherever you are in your life right now, and if you guys got questions, we're getting towards the end of the first round of training. So if you guys have questions, start asking some of them now. Jeremy will write down and we'll get to some of them at the end here, okay? So the 8th one is thoughts. All I know is, and I don't want to, please know, and I hope you could read this from me. I don't want you to think I take whatever circumstances you're going through lightly. I don't know where you are, and I know you might be facing some really tough things in your life, and I'm sorry if you are. I don't want to overgeneralize and be like, oh, if you just do this stuff, you're rich overnight, you're happy overnight. No, but this is the process, right? So I have to train and teach through the things that I know. But I know the toughest times in my life, the biggest struggles I've had, the biggest stresses I've had, the months of sleeping, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning with worry, all of them have been my thoughts, not reality. Let me ask you a question. Have your thoughts ever lied to you? I asked my dad that, and he's like, no, they don't. I said, really? You never thought someone was unfaithful in the relationship, and you found out you were wrong, but you stressed over it? He's like, yeah, that happened. Never thought your partner was taking advantage of you, but then you found out he didn't. Yeah, that happened. Never thought your friends dogged you, went to the movies without you, and didn't want to call you. Yeah, they tried calling, my phone was dead. So your thoughts ever lie to you? Yeah, they lie to you all the time. That's right, Dad. And your thoughts lie to you all the time. Your subconscious holds on to stuff and holds on to security, and all of a sudden you get taught all these things. All I know is wherever you are in life, and you built that vision of where you want to go, between you and that thing holding you back is the story you tell yourself. If you say, this president, this economy, this time in history, the technology, social media is holding me back. I can't do this. I can't quit this job because I got to pay the bills. I can't do this because of this. Whatever that story is, that's your life. That describes you. I can't leave this abusive relationship because I'll be alone forever. If that's true, it's only because you told yourself that. And then your story becomes your reality. You don't think it's lying to you, and then you go, I'm going to stay in an abusive relationship because I'll be alone and sad. Is that true? No, you don't know. If it's Byron Katie's amazing at that. Is it true? Is it absolutely true? And then how do you feel when you tell yourself that story? How would you feel without that story? How would you feel if you flipped that story? That's Byron Katie's Doing the Work, 5 questions. I love that. But that's really what we're talking about here. Be the observer of your thoughts. Be consciously aware of what they're saying. And if you can, kind of step back and say, man, I'm angst, or I'm not making any moves, Or I'm not trying this real estate. I was going to go for real estate and I didn't. I was going to go for this and I didn't. Step back and say, what kind of thoughts are going on here? Ooh, that one got from my dad. I'm going to push that away. Oh, I got that from a broke friend. I'm not going to take that advice. We literally can do it. Am I perfect at it? Hell no. But I'm aware of it. I'm going to end with a story because I'm consciously always trying to observe my thoughts and my actions, because if I'm having a bad day, I want to know what thoughts am I having, because I don't want to have these damn thoughts again. If I'm having a good day, I want to observe those thoughts and say I want to have more of them, right? So this is just because of observing my thoughts, and this is a personal thing, but my daughter and my son we were having breakfast. I'm wondering if I should tell a story. I'm going to tell a story. We're having breakfast, and my son has got this insane memory, better than me, better than most people I've ever met. So he's got this box of crayons, and they're all like really awesome. They're not just like red, blue, green. It's like purple passion fruit mango, like all these big names. And he's drawing with them, and he pulls one out. I'm like, oh, what's that? And he names it without looking. I'm like, oh, you knew the name of that one? He's like, I think I know all of them. I'm like, dude, how would you know the names of like 50 crayons in your box? Pulls them out one time, names every single one. I'm like, oh my God, dude, that's your unique ability. I could study that all day, I wouldn't do it. And my daughter said, I can do that. I'm like, well, what do you mean you can do that? She goes, I can do that. I'm like, no, Bree, you are the inventor. You come up with things I never thought of. That's the way Brody thinks. I shouldn't have told him that, but I did. And she's like, no. She goes and studies them. And she comes back. She goes, ask me. First one comes out, she gets it wrong. I'm like, oh, Bree, no big deal. She starts crying. I'm like, what's up, Bree? No big deal. It's like, yeah, Brody, because Brody got all this praise, right? And usually she's not like that. And so I said, what's up? And she said, it's because you spend more time with Brody in the morning than you do with me. And like, that hit a nerve with me. I'm like, I obsessively make sure that I do equal. And I'm like, Bree, don't you tell yourself a lie, and don't tell me a lie. Make yourself feel bad over something that's not true. That's not true. Do not think that. Do not say it. And that's it. She kind of tucked in her tears. She left for school. First time she left for school in her whole entire life without kissing me goodbye. And I was like, all right, if she wants to play that way, I'll play a little hardball. She'll be all right when she gets home. Then she left. And I did this exercise of observing my own thoughts. It has nothing to do with business, but standing between me and that next level of being a dad, being the parent I want to be, is the story or the thoughts I have, right? This is parenting. I believe that in everything. I don't do it perfectly, but so I started thinking, I'm like, and it hit me. And I was like frantic. I'm like, that's what she believed. That was my daughter's thoughts. That's how she felt. It doesn't mean it's true. And maybe that week, because my son's in baseball and football, I was spending more time with him. That's how she felt. And you know what I told her? I told her it doesn't matter how you feel. Tuck your feelings down and get to school. If my daughter married a man and she tried to tell him her feelings and he said, tuck them down and get out, I'd kick his ass, right? But I did that to my daughter. I told her she can't tell me what she's feeling because I'm going to judge her. And because I was observing my thoughts, I felt it. I dropped everything. I got in my car. I drove fast as I could without getting arrested to her school. I got to her school. I didn't even check in through the office. I jumped over the fence. Thank God security didn't see me. They would have tackled me. I walked right to her school, our classroom. I knocked on the door. I got her outside. I got on one knee. I said, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She's like, what, Dad? I was like, I'm sorry. I said, I told you your feelings don't matter. And it is important to me. And after I saw what I said to you, I realized that maybe I did, maybe I didn't spend more time with Brody, but that's how you felt, baby. And I want you to know I heard you, and I want you to tell me everything that's on your heart, and I'll try to be better at listening and understanding, and we can fix it. Is that okay? And she gave me the hugest hug and a big kiss, and I left sobbing. But I fixed that. Thank God. But I never would have caught that moment if I wasn't analyzing, wasn't observing my thoughts, observing my actions and saying, that one sucked. That was something my dad would have done or someone else or society, not the way I want to do it. I observed it and I fixed it. You could do the same thing with thoughts. When you start thinking, I can't, it's wrong, real estate won't work for me, I'm not rich enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. When you start doing those things, realize it's your thoughts. They're lying to you. Get proof. Prove them wrong. Spin it. And watch how life changes. Guys, are you liking this? Are you liking the 8 ways to start or scale a business? Let's get to a couple questions here before we end. We've been going for 3 hours and 14 minutes. Pretty amazing. Yeah. Flew by. And this is just the beginning. We have 2 more trainings. If you think this was good, oh my God, be on the lookout. We're going to be doing part 2 tomorrow, and you're invited. And then part 3 the following day. So you are not going to want to miss this. Be ready for the next phases, the next trainings, because we have 2 more. Okay, let's see. Oh, so what is the training tomorrow and Sunday? Both, just so you know, both trainings are at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And just go to deanslivecast.com. That's deanslivecast.com. If you're on my email list, you'll get an email, but make sure you're there. Write it down. Put it in your phone. I would literally right now grab your phone and remind yourself to be at deanslivecast.com. So many of you asked that. Thank you. I see all these. Oh, thanks, guys. Pacific time. Yes.